Look what I just got in the mail today. Well, FedEx or UPS or whoever. But I'm excited because it's the first thing I ever bought from Flyin Miata. So I want to see the qualities. So I got a clutch and a flywheel. Cool. So this is like a 1/8 clutch, but it's like the level 2, so it should fit or just like hold up to anything pretty much. So that'll be cool. Pressure plate. Oh. Cool. Yeah, so that's a cool lightweight flywheel. Nice. So this has been a long time coming, but finally doing my clutch. This you're gonna see mixed. I didn't film this because it's gonna actually be on the higher garage, so you won't really miss a whole. You're gonna miss like this, me doing every little step, but it's a lot of steps because I have to pull the whole engine out. But that's what I'm doing today, pulling the whole engine out. So I'm disconnecting my header right now. I got my AC compressor hanging so I can leave that in the car. I explained that in the other channel. You're gonna have to watch both videos to understand what the hell's going on. But basically this engine's coming out and I'm gonna put a clutch in and do the timing belt and water pump. And it's gonna be a fun day, so that's what I'm doing now. Right now I'm taking off my header, so fun being studs is half the studs are going to come out with the nut and the other half just the nut's going to come out, but that's fine because these will go right back in, so no big deal. Pulling these off, but I'm not going to try and do a full tutorial of how to pull an engine out of a Miata because it's really not that hard. You just fucking unbolt everything that's hooked up to the car, and the wiring just very little, and it'll unplug, so there's nothing to really worry about. Okay, so many hours later, there's no longer an engine in the car, and it's sitting right there. So tomorrow, because I'm fucking beat, I'm gonna pull the transmission off. At some point, clean the fuck out of this thing. Tranny and all. Probably in there too, at least on the frame. I mean, just to keep my AC in. That was the most important part. AC and power steering, didn't lose a drop of fluid. Mint. So, got new that. I'm also gonna redo my clutch line, because it's this stupid, like, it goes here, goes into this little fucking rubber line from the master, bolts back to this stupid thing, goes through this loop-de-loop bullshit, and into your slave. Which I'm surprised the little boot isn't torn on. But, cool. Got the engine up, stood up, got most of the bolts out of it. I got almost at the steps to take the transmission apart from the engine. So I put the top 2 bolts back in just finger tight so that when I get the rest of these bolts undone, the thing isn't going to fall and kill someone. Now I'm gonna unbolt the pressure plate and all this stuff and speed it up so it looks really cool. If you didn't notice, I'm doing this in somewhat of a crisscross pattern. And there goes the clutch. There's the old pressure plate. A little burnt. There's the old clutch. And bearing. Whew, she's purple. She's a little cooked. Looks like fucking 6-speed cells, this clutch, huh? You can see where the spline started to strip out a little bit. Yeah, it definitely was time for a new clutch. I'm also going to take the flywheel off, because that's the other piece I have to replace. There you go. Alright, so I cracked all the nuts. I cracked all these loose finally. Took a while, and it was a pain in the ass. But now the flywheel bolts are coming out. Nice flywheel off. So like that, so it holds the clutch on there for you while you line up the pressure plate to the flywheel. But you should also clean with brake fluid. Or brake cleaner, not brake fluid. Any like surfaces that touch to get like contact, you should always brake clean it. Got my new 10-pound lightweight flywheel bolted up and torqued down to spec. Alright, so before you put the clutch in, you gotta put a new pilot bearing in. That's this little guy. It goes in there. So what you want to do is fit this guy, get some grease. Stick it in there. And it's gonna be hard to get in. Like, it's just gonna want to sit there. So you're gonna take a socket that's the same size, roughly. So I finally got that in there to where it's good and looks straight to me. So, take your clutch, go in between, sits in there. And take our pressure plate, slides over. We got those lined up and put all our little bolts back in. And now that we got all these like finger tight and to like the tight where you can kind of do that, you're gonna torque these down. Oh, this is gonna take a little bit longer. When you crank these down, it kind of moves like the whole plate in even more. Just kind of space it. So you're just gonna have to go very slowly till all these bolts are like kind of compressed. But you're only gonna torque each bolt down to 18 foot-pounds. So this might take a while, just tightening them up gradually, one by one, so they're all like where you want them. And now you can take your torque wrench and torque them to what they should be. And you want to obviously do this in like a star pattern. Okay. That guy's on. My clutch alignment tool out now. And there you go, new clutch installed. I just gotta slap the bastard back together. Inside the transmission here, I already installed a new throwout bearing. So right here, in here, is your throwout bearing. This is what actually goes back and forward when you press the clutch pedal. And the bearing here is what wears out and you gotta replace with your clutch. So. Oh! Yeah, don't press that. Okay. Fucking thing needs to come up more. It's a pain in the ass. We might need 3 people for that. Oh, there's the hole. Can you get that started?
Oh, yeah. It is started for sure.
Like kind of tight, and then work our way around with the bolts so they line up, and it just kind of pulls itself in. tight as they can get before you torque them, you know?
Yeah.
Like they're in there, like, pretty tight.
Fair enough.
Okay. So we got her all back together. Just prepping, doing a little cleanup to make sure she can go back in. I'm gonna wait till I put it back in to do the water pump and timing belt, because if I do it floating, one, I have to deal with the engine floating around every time I touch it, and that's a pain in the balls. Even if I set it on tires, I can't let go of it from the chains because it'll just tip over, and I don't really want it to sit like that. And I don't have a way to really like lock the engine in place instead of it spinning, unless I have the axles and stuff hooked up so I can actually lock the wheels with the e-brake and lock the engine so I can break the crank pulley loose and stuff like that. So I'm gonna throw this back in tonight, and then tomorrow I'm gonna do the water pump and timing belt, and then she'll be all set and ready for boost.